StraightallDay.com.
Baldwin, workonyourgameuniversity.com, DreUniversity.com. We got that now too. DreUniversity.com. I got my own university. Topic here is it is getting more and more costly to speak your mind, or what most people call telling the truth. Almost everybody says they're telling the truth when they speak their mind, even though we don't even agree on stuff that people are saying. But speaking your mind is no longer free. So in America, you know how they have, we have this thing that we call free speech, right? Free speech is not free. Free speech is not free. It comes at a cost. Just today, as a matter of fact, I was watching this video of Candace Owens. I'm sure all of you know who she is. She had a video series that she was going to put out about the French president and his wife, that Candace is putting everything on the line, saying that woman is a man. I don't know all the details yet. By the time this video comes out, I'll probably have watched the entire series. But the point is, she was going to release that whole series only on her website, because if she had tried to put it on, I think she calculated that if she put it on YouTube or any other platform, aggregating platform, that they might take the shit down and not let it publish, or they might try to flag it once it comes out or whatever. And she's probably also to promote her own website and build up her audience through her website anyway. And it was the same thing that she had said back in the fall of 2024 when she was performing surgery on Kamala Harris's background, and also a little bit on Barack Obama's as well. If you didn't see those series, they are still on YouTube, at least the last time that I checked. And someone like Candace, who I feel is the closest thing to an investigative journalist we have out here, and I don't know if she even calls herself that, but that's exactly what she does. Her doing that, she gets all kinds of demonetizations. Her content gets flagged. She gets basically canceled in many places. She got fired from working at the Daily Wire over these things, not because she did anything that was objectively wrong, but because she was sharing the truth and backing it up with actual evidence and information and putting it all into context. And doing that so often put her in the crosshairs of people who have some power and influence, who didn't want her saying the things that she was saying. And again, it's not that she did anything that was objectively wrong. It's the same thing that I said when it came to Andrew Tate. It's not that he did anything that was objectively wrong. It was just that, and it's not even that he was saying anything that was even so new and unique. A lot of the things that Andrew Tate was saying was really about a masculinity mindset, how men compare to women, and just his view on life. And again, it's not the things that he was saying the things that he was saying were so outlandish. They really weren't, because a lot of people have been saying the same things. They say it in different ways. Only thing that was different about him was his style of delivery, and somehow, some way, it started to catch on, it started to go viral, and everybody wanted to hear what he had to say, the way that he was saying it. And then he started to get himself canceled again. What specifically did he do to get canceled? Nobody can answer that question, because there's no answer. He didn't do anything. All he did was speak his mind in a way that certain people didn't like, because it was getting across to too many people and it was having too much influence. They didn't like that, so they started to go to work to shut him down. That's what's happening right now, ladies and gentlemen. It is starting with the most influential people. So the people who I mentioned, all of you know them, right? All of you know who Andrew Tate is, even if you don't follow his stuff. All of you know who Candace Owens is, even if you don't follow her stuff. You know their names. You know who Donald Trump is, even though you may not be a fan of his. They're starting with the people who are the big fish, the big name individuals who happen to be talking a little bit too much, running their mouth a little bit too much. And it's not even so much what they're saying is the fact that it's having impact. It's the fact that people are listening and saying, damn, you know what? That makes sense. Damn, I'm listening to this person. Damn, I'm not going to listen to the mainstream message anymore, because what this person is saying actually makes more sense than what the mainstream message has been telling me. That's the problem that they have. And the issue that let's say the powers that be, or what Andrew Tate calls the Matrix, the issue that they have is that as these voices become more and more influential, more and more people are going to be saying the same things. And eventually there are going to be more people who have a big voice, who are using it, and it's having more and more impact. They can't cancel everybody. It's not possible to cancel everybody on the basis of you're saying things that go against the grain of what we want the mainstream message to be. You can't just keep doing that to everybody forever. Which means the following. There's a couple things that could possibly happen moving forward. Number one is that platforms are going to start doing more censorship of saying the wrong, quote unquote, wrong things to the wrong people, or speaking on the wrong subjects. And this is not so much necessarily the platforms themselves. So let me tell you something. I meant to tell you this at the beginning of the video. Just in the last week, I've been suspended on TikTok and been suspended on X. Now, TikTok is run by, as of this recording, is a Chinese-based company. They have very strict community guidelines in terms of what things you can say and can't say. For example, you can't say the name Andrew Tate on TikTok. They'll actually take your video down, or they'll give you a warning or kick you off if you say the name too often. You can't say Russia on on TikTok. There are certain words that you can't say the word retarded on TikTok. Trust me, I know for a fact you can't say these things because I've said them in different contexts, and I immediately got told by TikTok, you can't say that phrase or that word on this app. You'll be suspended, you'll be flagged, we'll take your content down, or we had to take down your content because you used something that wasn't supposed to be used. They have these strict community guidelines on these things. And at the same time, and here's the other thing, X is owned by Elon Musk. Now, Elon is allegedly, he called himself a free speech absolutist. And generally, I believe him. The thing is, it's not like he's looking at every single tweet and deciding, or every post and deciding what's okay versus what's not. They still have systems that operate, and look at everything and automatically, systematically tell you what's right and what's acceptable and what's not. Here's the issue: is not the systems for either one. Because even on TikTok, for example, I've been suspended. As I told you, recently got suspended, but I've been suspended on TikTok like 5 or 6 times in the last 6 months. The issue is this: now you can crowdsource this stuff. So, for example, how I got suspended on X was I was having a back and forth exchange with a feminist and a bunch of her feminist sympathizers. I don't know if they're her friends or they disagree with feminism, and they just jumped into the conversation. And I was making my point, logically making my point, completely making my point articulately, and she was just going to emotion, and I was basically smashing her face in verbally in this conversation. And what happened is a bunch of her sympathizers or friends or colleagues, whoever they were, they got together and started flagging my posts. And they got a post flagged often enough that X took a look at it and said, hey, you are violating our community guidelines, so now your account is locked until or unless you delete the content that violated the guidelines. And then even after you delete it, you're suspended, your account is locked for 12 hours. You can't post anything for 12 hours. That was what they concluded. Even when I did the appeal, they said we looked at it and your appeal was not successful. You're still suspended for the next 12 hours. And it's not that I said anything crazy. I'm saying the same things that I say in these videos, on my podcast. There was nothing out of the ordinary in what I said. I've never been suspended on X before. Never been suspended on there before. I talk about the same stuff there that I talk about here, well, in different ways and different contexts depending on who I'm talking to. There's a lot of my content on X is exchanges back and forth with other people. The point is that if you're a type of person who thinks independently, eventually you're going to stumble across some ideas or beliefs that go against the grain of what a lot of people have been taught to think, and a lot of people have decided emotionally that they will think regardless of what is presented to them. And eventually you're going to get to the point of actually saying those things out loud. And when you do, you're going to get blowback. The issue is that blowback is not just going to be something that you can laugh off, because what's happening is the group that blows back against you, they're learning how to mobilize and shut you down, shout you down, quiet you down, block you, get you suspended, flagged, demonetized, etc. for saying something that they really don't like you saying and that they really disagree with. This is why I said free speech ain't free. If you're going to use your free speech right and say things that go against the grain, it's going to come at a cost. All of this means the following, and the irony is not lost to me that I'm saying this in a YouTube video. But y'all can come back and look at this video 10 years from now and see where we are and understand. You're going to need to have control of your own platforms. Doesn't mean stop using social media, because there's a lot of people on social media. If you want to reach a lot of people, you should be on social media, because this is the fastest and easiest way to reach a mass of people in a short period of time. However, you shouldn't build your entire house on social media, because if you start saying things that people don't like, again, look at Candace Owens, look at Donald Trump, look at Andrew Tate, and again, they're the big fish. This is going to happen to other people who may not be as big, because slowly but surely, more and more people are going to start believing things that the Matrix or the powers that be don't want you to believe. And as soon as you start saying it, that's when it's going to become a problem. So you can think whatever you want. They can't read your mind, at least not yet. But they can read what you say. They can hear what you say. And you start saying those things, that's when it's going to become a problem. So any of you who has any idea of going out there and saying what you really think and putting your real thoughts out there, and those thoughts happen to go against what most people around you and what most people you see believe, prepare yourself for maybe not having access to the same methods of communication that you have access to now, because they'll just kick you off. They'll shut you down. They'll demonetize you. They'll deplatform you. They'll get you flagged and suspended. They'll do this when you start hurting people's feelings. And a lot of the world that we're in today, especially Western society, is based on how people feel, not based on what's actually real. And that's a good rhyming saying right there. Based on how you feel, not what's actually real. And any of you who wants to keep it real, this is the cost that it comes at. Everything in life has a trade-off. Trade-off for keeping it real is that you got to own a platform on which you can keep it real and nobody can stop you from doing so. Social media is not that. In my experience and my prediction for the future, social media is not going to be that place where you can keep it real and not face consequences. There's going to be a consequence for keeping it real. As long as you're willing to pay it, I just told you what it is, then you can move forward. But understand, this is coming. This is not a theory. This is not a guess. I can guarantee this. And I'm giving you examples, even from myself. All that said, folks, workonyourgameuniversity.com. All right, you want to develop your voice where you can put yourself, your thoughts, and your beliefs out there and let the world understand where you're coming from and why, and you can start making an impact that way. Go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. That link's down below in the description to this video. Work on your game. Dre, all